Your soulmate is not who they pretend to be. In reality, your soulmate is a. My beloved child, pause for just one heartbeat, because what you are about to hear is not meant to create fear, it is meant to awaken your understanding. There is a reason this message found you today instead of yesterday. There is a reason your curiosity refused to let you scroll away. And there is a reason the title felt strangely personal. Stay with this moment a little longer, because the truth hidden beneath appearances often arrives quietly before it changes everything. You have spent so much time imagining who your soulmate might be. Perhaps you pictured a perfect smile, familiar words, or a life that fits neatly into your expectations. But what if the greatest surprise is not where they live, what they do, or how they look? What if your soulmate is not who they pretend to be? Because the version the world sees is only a carefully painted surface? Every person wears a mask. Some wear it to impress. Others wear it to protect the most valuable parts of themselves. Your soulmate is no different. Listen carefully. The secret is not that they are dishonest. The secret is that they have been living inside a role that was never truly theirs. They have smiled when they wanted silence. They have agreed when their heart whispered another answer. They have become the person everyone expected, while quietly wondering whether anyone would ever notice the soul hidden underneath. Now imagine this. Someone who appears endlessly confident, yet spends quiet nights questioning every decision. Someone who looks impossible to shake, yet carries extraordinary compassion that almost no one has earned the right to witness. Someone who seems ordinary in the crowd, but possesses an inner world so vivid that it could transform every conversation into something unforgettable. That is why this title matters. Your soulmate is not who they pretend to be. Because, in reality, your soulmate is a dream protector. Not someone who guards castles or treasures, but someone who quietly protects hope, both their own and the hope of those they love. They rarely reveal this side because experience taught them that people often misunderstand gentle strength. So instead, they hide it behind routines, responsibilities, and carefully chosen words. Think about the people you've crossed paths with recently. Was there someone whose actions never quite matched the image they projected? Someone whose eyes seemed to tell a completely different story than their voice? What if that contradiction was never confusion? What if it was a clue? Sometimes destiny does not introduce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives disguised as coincidence. And sometimes the person you've been searching for has been standing behind an invisible curtain built from expectations they never wanted. Don't rush to decide who this person is. The answer becomes clearer when you stop searching for perfection and start noticing authenticity. Here's something even more fascinating. The universe has an unusual habit of bringing two people together only after both have learned the value of wearing less armor. Until then, every meeting feels incomplete. Every conversation ends just before the truth appears. Every goodbye feels strangely unfinished, as if the story paused instead of ending. Have you ever wondered why certain faces remain in your memory longer than they should? Why one unexpected conversation continues echoing months later? Why a single sentence from someone you've barely known keeps returning during quiet moments? These are not always accidents. Sometimes they are invitations to pay closer attention. Stay until the end of this journey, because the next revelation will connect pieces you never realized belonged together. What seems mysterious now will begin to form a picture, and that picture may challenge everything you believed about love, timing, and the person who is slowly moving closer to your path. Because the greatest disguise your soulmate has ever worn is pretending to be ordinary, when in reality they were quietly becoming the extraordinary person your future has been waiting to meet. A strange realization is about to unfold, and if you've stayed this far, it means you're ready to see beyond the surface. Most people stop searching the moment they find someone interesting. But very few continue searching for the truth behind the smile. That is where your story becomes different. Don't leave just yet, because the next piece changes the meaning of everything you've heard so far. What makes your soulmate so difficult to recognize is not their appearance, it is their remarkable ability to blend into ordinary life. They have mastered the art of looking predictable while carrying an extraordinary purpose within. To strangers, they seem like just another face in the crowd. To acquaintances, they appear calm, practical, and easy to understand. Yet deep inside, they carry thoughts so profound that even they struggle to explain them. In reality, your soulmate is a quiet visionary. Not someone who needs applause. Not someone chasing constant attention. But someone who naturally sees possibilities where everyone else sees limitations. They often notice opportunities long before others do. They sense emotions before words are spoken. They understand silence in ways conversations never could. This hidden gift has shaped their entire journey. Many people misunderstood them because they never revealed everything they carried inside. Some assumed they lacked ambition simply because they moved patiently. Others believed they were too reserved because they listened more than they spoke. Yet those who truly crossed paths with them left with an unusual feeling they could never fully explain, as though they had briefly met someone who understood them without asking too many questions. Have you noticed something similar in your own life? Perhaps there was someone who remembered small details everyone else forgot. Someone whose advice stayed with you long after the conversation ended. Someone who never tried to impress you, yet somehow left the strongest impression of all. What if those moments were never random? What if destiny leaves quiet fingerprints before it reveals its masterpiece? Think about this for a second. The world often celebrates loud voices, but life-changing people are rarely the loudest. They move gently. They observe carefully. They wait until the perfect moment before revealing who they truly are. Your soulmate has been doing exactly that. Every challenge they faced has quietly polished their character. Every disappointment has increased their compassion. Every unanswered question has expanded their wisdom. While others were busy proving themselves, your soulmate was becoming someone capable of building something lasting. That is why appearances have been so misleading. The role they show the world is only the introduction. The real story begins beneath it. And here is the beautiful twist. The moment you stop expecting someone extraordinary to look extraordinary, you begin noticing qualities that cannot be copied. Kindness that asks for nothing in return. Confidence without arrogance. Strength without noise. Hope without conditions. Those are the signs that truly matter. If these words are speaking to you, share your thoughts in the comments about the quality you value most in a soulmate. And if this journey is helping you see relationships through a new lens, subscribing means you'll be here when the next chapter uncovers an even deeper truth. Because what comes next is not about discovering who your soulmate is. It is about discovering why your paths have remained apart until now. Stay with this story. The next revelation will uncover the invisible reason timing has protected both of you, and once you understand it, the waiting may finally begin to make perfect sense. A quiet shift is happening now, and this is the moment where everything you've heard begins to transform into understanding. If you've walked with this story from the beginning, don't step away now. The final pieces are moving into place, and what once seemed like mystery is about to feel surprisingly familiar. There is one last truth about your soulmate that very few people ever recognize. They were never pretending because they wanted to deceive anyone. They were protecting the version of themselves that had not yet found the right person to trust. Think about a seed beneath the ground. From the surface, it appears as though nothing is happening. Days pass. Weeks pass. To anyone watching, it seems ordinary, even lifeless. But beneath the soil, an invisible transformation is taking place. Roots are growing. Strength is forming. A future is quietly preparing itself. Your soulmate's journey has followed that same pattern. While the world judged what could be seen, their greatest growth happened where no one was looking. Every challenge refined their patience. Every disappointment strengthened their compassion. Every unanswered question helped them become someone capable of building a relationship that is steady rather than temporary. And perhaps the same has been happening to you. What once felt like waiting may actually have been preparation. What felt like silence may have been wisdom growing beneath the surface. What seemed like distance may have simply been timing arranging two lives with incredible precision. Imagine meeting someone who doesn't need to impress you because they are comfortable being themselves. Imagine conversations where silence feels peaceful instead of awkward. Imagine looking into someone's eyes and realizing you don't have to become someone else to be accepted. That is the connection your soulmate has been quietly preparing for. Not perfection. Not fantasy. But authenticity. The kind that lasts when excitement becomes commitment. The kind that grows stronger with every ordinary day shared together. So if you've been wondering why this message found you today, perhaps it wasn't to tell you who your soulmate is. Perhaps it was to remind you what truly matters when they finally appear. Not appearances. Not assumptions. Not first impressions. But character, consistency, kindness, and a heart that has quietly grown through every season of life. If this story gave you a new perspective, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like to continue exploring these journeys together, subscribing simply means you'll be here for the next chapter when another hidden truth is ready to be uncovered. As this chapter comes to a close, carry this thought with you. The greatest connections rarely announce themselves with noise. They arrive with peace. They remain with trust. And they reveal themselves one truth at a time. Your soulmate is not who they pretend to be. In reality, they are someone whose quiet strength, genuine heart, and unseen character have been preparing them for a meeting that will happen at exactly the right moment. Until then, keep your heart open. Because sometimes the most extraordinary person you'll ever meet is the one the world almost overlooked. One final doorway remains. And if you've stayed until this moment, you've already done something most people never do. You chose understanding over assumption. That choice changes the way you see people, and perhaps, the way your future begins to unfold. There is a quiet law that shapes every meaningful connection. The right person is rarely recognized by the fastest eyes. They are recognized by the patient heart. Your soulmate has never been competing for attention. While others were trying to be noticed, they were becoming someone worthy of being remembered. That is why their greatest qualities cannot be captured in a single conversation or a first impression. They reveal themselves gradually. Like the sunrise. Never all at once. And that is exactly why destiny has protected this meeting. If your paths had crossed years earlier, perhaps one of you would have walked away without seeing what truly mattered. The timing wasn't delayed because something was wrong. It was delayed because both stories needed one more chapter of growth before they could become one. Now imagine this. Somewhere, someone is making small decisions today without realizing they are leading them closer to you. A different route. A new opportunity. An unexpected conversation. A simple choice that feels ordinary now but may one day become the beginning of a story neither of you could have predicted. Life often works that way. The biggest turning points rarely announce themselves. They whisper. They arrive disguised as normal days. Only later do we realize they changed everything. That is why you should never underestimate the quiet moments in your own journey. The kindness you offer today, the patience you practice, the hope you choose to keep alive, these are not meaningless acts. They shape the person your soulmate will eventually meet. And perhaps, at this very moment, they are growing in the same way. Learning. Healing. Preparing. Without knowing that someone, somewhere, is also becoming ready. So release the need to rush the story. Trust the process more than the clock. Because genuine connections are not built on perfect timing alone, they are built on two people who have become capable of recognizing each other's true value. As this journey closes, remember the message hidden inside the title. Your soulmate is not who they pretend to be. In reality, they are far more remarkable than appearances could ever reveal. Their greatest beauty is not found in what they show the world, but in the quiet integrity, compassion, resilience, and wisdom they carry every single day. One day, when your paths finally cross, you may smile and realize something incredible. The signs were always there. The lessons were always leading you. And every unexpected chapter was quietly guiding both of you toward the same destination. Until that day arrives, keep becoming the best version of yourself. Because extraordinary souls don't simply find each other. They recognize each other. Before this story fades into silence, hear one last reflection, because sometimes the ending of a message becomes the beginning of a completely different way of seeing your future. You have followed every clue, every quiet revelation, every hidden layer. Now there is only one truth left to uncover. Your soulmate's greatest secret was never their identity. It was their journey. Every chapter they lived through shaped them into someone who values depth over appearances. They discovered that real connection cannot be rushed, borrowed, or forced. It arrives only when two people have learned to carry both joy and challenge with grace. That is why they never fit perfectly into the expectations of others. Some people called them mysterious. Some thought they were impossible to understand. Others assumed they were simply different. But perhaps different was always the point. The world often celebrates those who speak the loudest. Yet history is quietly changed by those who listen deeply. Your soulmate belongs to that second group. They notice the details others overlook. They remember the words everyone else forgets. They value honesty even when it is difficult. And when they choose someone, they do so with their whole heart. That is the person hidden beneath the ordinary image. Not perfect. Not flawless. But genuine. Imagine looking back years from now and realizing that every delay, every unexpected turn, and every unanswered question had been guiding you toward a connection that could only happen at the right time. Would you still call the waiting a burden? Or would you call it preparation? Sometimes life protects us by slowing us down. Sometimes it teaches us by asking us to trust what we cannot yet see. And sometimes the most meaningful chapter begins only after we stop trying to predict the ending. So as you leave this story today, carry one thought with you. Never judge a soul by the role they seem to play. Behind an ordinary smile may live extraordinary courage. Behind quiet words may live remarkable wisdom. Behind a simple life may live a heart capable of changing another life forever. Perhaps that is why this message reached you. Not to convince you that destiny is written in stone, but to remind you that meaningful connections are built through authenticity, patience, and the courage to see beyond appearances. If this journey made you pause, reflect, or see relationships from a new perspective, I'd love to hear what resonated with you most in the comments. And if you'd like to continue exploring stories that inspire hope, awareness, and possibility, subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. We may uncover another truth that arrives exactly when you need it. Until we meet again, keep your eyes open for kindness. Keep your heart open for authenticity. Because the most extraordinary people rarely announce who they are. They simply live in such a genuine way that, when the time is right, their true light becomes impossible to overlook. There is one final whisper before this journey comes to rest, not a prediction, not a promise, but an invitation to see your future through a clearer lens. If you have stayed until this moment, perhaps it is because something inside you already understands that the greatest discoveries are rarely loud. They arrive gently, and they stay forever. One day, without expecting it, you may meet someone who feels strangely familiar. Not because you've met them before, but because your heart recognizes a piece your mind cannot yet explain. There will be no need for perfect words. No need to become someone you're not. The conversation will feel effortless. The silence will feel comfortable. And for the first time in a long time, you won't feel the need to search for hidden meanings, because sincerity will be enough. That is when you'll remember this message. You'll remember that your soulmate was never pretending to be someone else. They were simply waiting for the right moment to stop hiding the parts of themselves the world never understood. Perhaps they were waiting for someone who would appreciate their kindness instead of overlooking it. Someone who would value their loyalty instead of testing it. Someone who would notice the quiet strength behind their calm smile. And perhaps that someone is becoming you. Life has an extraordinary way of rewarding those who continue growing even when no one is watching. Every lesson you embraced, every challenge you overcame, every moment you chose hope instead of doubt has quietly shaped the person you are today. None of it was wasted. Every experience became another step toward greater wisdom. Every ending prepared you for a better beginning. So, as this chapter closes, let go of the idea that extraordinary people always appear extraordinary. Some of the brightest souls choose the simplest paths. Some of the strongest hearts speak with the gentlest voices. And some of the greatest love stories begin so quietly that, in the moment, they almost seem ordinary. Until one day, you look back and realize that ordinary moment changed everything. Carry this truth with you wherever life leads next. Look beyond appearances. Value character above image. Choose authenticity over perfection. Because the connection meant for you will never ask you to become someone else, it will inspire you to become more fully yourself. And when that day arrives, you'll understand that the greatest surprise was never who your soulmate appeared to be. The greatest surprise was discovering that the